Hello and welcome everybody to the draft recap of the CBDL. Um, to what happened last season of the CBDL, let's talk about that first while this beautiful cover night is looking straight up in our faces and we all know what's gonna happen this season. Um, we lost in finals. We got a really unlucky game against a buddy Wolf. He uploaded the match. I will link his site down in the description if I don't forget it. The problem here is I got really tilted. I have the footage still. I got really toxic in that footage, so I'm not feeling really comfortable with uploading it. So this footage will probably never see the day of light. But yeah, it exists. Maybe I feel comfortable uploading it at some point, but not right now. I'm sorry for that. I just can tell you if you don't want to watch the side of the video, we end up missing one Iron Head at one Sun Headbutt on the trick room with our class trio made us lost the game to his remaining threats. We did get quite unlucky with some rolls after that, and then lost the speed tie against his non-scarf ditto with our Eternatus. Otherwise, Eternatus would have carried us home. Sadly, we didn't. So, yeah, we did not become the champion. We played a flawless season till that point. Eternatus died on the last second of the match, so he didn't win flawless. That being said, yeah. There were a couple of changes to this season. We do now have no more Ubers. Ubers are dead. We're playing in standard OU rules. Still on the Switch for last time, hopefully. And yeah, we have a couple of new faces in the league. You will see them couple of weeks. We're gonna play all of them, I think. Yes. Um, we're gonna start off round one next week with with Al, a good buddy of mine. You saw battles against him on channel already, and yeah, he's a cool guy. So let's start off. We were last overall pick, and I had great plans of drafting the typical stuff like Dragapult, like Draco Wish, like all the good stuff, you know. I love using those. But time went on, and we dropped quite low into the draft, and a lot of good mons were taken at that point. Still, I had my eyes on Coronite the whole time because I know I can use this thing amazingly, and Coronite is one of my favorite mons to use competitive wise. And yes, it was there. I didn't think about it. I grabbed it. I had a plan going into this. It was a really top-heavy draft. It ended up being a really top-heavy draft. I had to change a couple of picks. I wanted to have a Cinderace that got sniped from me. Like I didn't thought I would need to grab Cinderace for whatever reason in on the first wheel. I should have in hindsight because I got sniped on it right after. Because I decided, okay, Carbonite will give me good steel type to begin with. It will give me defog hazard control. It will give me some pivoting around. It's an amazing defensive Pokemon. It has everything it basically wants to have, and it really fits my playstyle. So I just thought like, okay, hey, let's fucking go, let's get it. So I did get it. With this thing came a couple of problems, cause now my flying type was reserved basically, and I already formed. On paper, I had a really big fire weakness at that point, and nothing really wanted to switch into Scald or shit. And yeah, I had to throw around a couple of things. We ended up with a double steel type. If you're gonna see in like that, will you're gonna see in a bit. I think it's pick 4 or pick 5. I don't really know. But yeah, we picked up Coronite. One of the best defensive mon in the metagame, in my opinion. Pressure makes this thing so hard to kill in most situations because it has enough bulk to outstall you with it. It gets setup opportunities. It gets basically everything you want from a mon. It's a better Skarmory. Just Skarmory gets more hazards, and this thing gets U-turn. Yeah, I love this thing. That's all I can say about it. For the next pick, I was like, I want a really strong Fairy Dragon Steel Core. So I decided like I wanted to have Como as my check to Urshifus that were running around wild at that point. But I ended up not picking Como because I did really not have any good switch-ins to specific shit. And yeah, let's say I really went physical offensive. I know Como can be run mixed, but I wanted something different. So I decided to go with Hydreigon. Um, like, Cornet is named as the Rosa for the season. With the next couple of months, you're gonna guess the name theme quite easy, I think. So, yeah. So, next thing was the Hydreigon. I never used this mon, to be completely fair. I always wanted to use it, and I know it doesn't help me with my fairy weakness, yet it gives me some more switch to psychic types, cause their Tapu Lele got drafted. I mean, it's not a Tapu Lele check by any means, but at least checks the psychic spam format. So they need to double guess themselves if they really wanted to click a psychic type move against me. And yeah, it is a really amazing mon. It's a really good Scarfer. It's an amazing wall breaker with the setup opportunities it got. It gets Dragon Dance, it gets another defogger, pivoting around with U-turn. It gets Roost, it can be run defensive. There's a lot of things you can do with this thing, and I'm really happy that I actually get to use it for once. It's like the Scartram thing from PBAL, where I wanted to use Scartram for the whole time, and now I realize it's really not my type of style because it's really one-dimensional. Because, well, no, it's not one-dimensional, but it's not that good as I expected. I hope this thing will not disappoint me as well, but we're gonna see about that. Um, it's an amazing special wall breaker. It can be run physical because it gets a pretty wide coverage of physical moves like head smash and shit you wouldn't expect from this thing actually. But it gets those, which is really amazing. And yeah, it helps me to deal with a lot of my weaknesses I formed on my head, but in the end I didn't really have. And probably Como would be somewhat better here in this situation. This thing gives me another ground immunity, which is cool. But I do end up not really having a good Urshifu switch in, which you're gonna see in a bit. Draft continues, not of picks fell in front of my eyes, cause real pick, there had to be a whole 2 rotations of picks before I pick again, and it came back to me. And I was looking at another mon I haven't used for ages. I think I last used it as Sun and Moon came out, or Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, I don't know which one of the two this thing revealed. And it's Katana. I wanted to use Katana really, really bad. And my fucking... Thank you, we can go like that again. Yeah, I wanted to use Katana again, because, I mean, the text that speaks for itself, it might not be the best defensive mon-wise, but offensive-wise, this thing will wreck shop. And if you don't have a real switch in, or if your team gets too low to this thing, and I bring it in, I manage to get 1 kill, it's most likely over for you at that point. Because this thing is nothing you want to joke around with. Once it gets rolling, you will not stop it. Not at all. Yes, this thing is... I used it once in a doubles league and I destroyed people with it and everyone got mad at me once again. No, just kidding. Yeah, but I can use this thing. I would say I can use it. Probably you will see me not use it well this season because I haven't used it in ages, but I would say I could use it pretty well. It's a secondary fire steel type I have, another fire weakness, which we can kind of cover out later on. It gives me some setup unity. It's another defogger. I don't think I will ever run defog on this thing, but maybe I will. Who knows? I don't plan on doing it at least. What else can I say about Katana? Amazing offensive stats, good coverage, amazing ability for what it does. Just a great mon. I like it. And I think it fit the overall team I thought about really well. The second thing on this wheel pick was a bit to compensate my speed. I was lacking somewhat. And I picked up nothing because I'm in the wrong window. I'm sorry. Sarara. Yeah, Sarara was my next pick, and once again, I'm sorry, I need to move this a bit. Yeah, like that. Perfect. Sarara is probably another one of my favorite mons to use in Draft League because of its speed stat. It outspeeds Dragapult, which makes Dragapult really, really weird to bring against me. It doesn't match up too well against me, but with this thing, it's a double guessing game. Because either you bring it Scarf or you don't bring it, because you don't want to stay in it against Aurora, and Aurora will probably always come in some sort of form. Like, 3 of my 4 mons already have momentum, and it's not gonna stop there, because this team is really momentum based, and I'm pretty proud of that. And yeah, We have the besides Ninjask and Deoxys, and already like obviously the fastest one in the game, and this really helps us here. It is an amazing offensive threat to basically every team because of its wide amount of coverage and setup opportunities, and the way it could be run special or physical. You can't really predict what it does. You have an amazing pivot with it if you give it heavy duty boots. You have an amazing wall breaker if you give it like a life orb or expert belt or something like that. Be prepared for this thing, because this thing will take souls. Yes, I can guarantee you it will. Besides that, it gives me an electric type, electric immunity even, because of Volt Absorb, and somewhat of a normal type immunity because of a Plasma Fist, but I don't think I will ever use that. We'll see. Besides that, I just like the design of the Mon, it's pretty cool, and gives me a wide amount of coverage and more options to use. The draft continues, and as you can see, I used pretty much a lot of my points for a lot of basically OU mons at that point. They are all like pretty expensive. I was like, okay, maybe I need to dip a bit low with what I want for my fairy type. So I decided with something that somewhat at least can check Urshifus in Comfy. We have a priority Draining Kiss, which helps me to beat Urshifus in the long run. And yeah, I don't really know what else this thing does. I know it gets set up like Carmine. It gets U-turn, another mon. That's cool. It gets Training Kiss and Giga Train with priority because of its ability. If I'm not completely wrong, it gets Prankster, but I can't get. I'm not 100% saying it does, so who knows? I would need to check, but I'm not gonna right now. Maybe we'll find out. Besides that, what do I have? I have another defogger on this thing, which could come, because it's actually pretty fair. Priority on every healing move with Triage. Like, it gets Wish, I think, and Healing Wish. Which could be cool. Priority Healing Wish could actually work out pretty well on my team. We'll see. Besides that, this just completes my Fairy Dragon Steel Core. And I really like the Fairy Dragon Steel Core we're having here. With Coronite, Hydreigon, and Comfy, it's gonna be hard to break that core offensively. Overall, offensively, breaking my team isn't too easy because you need a lot of firepower to break through a Coronite alone. Let not talk about the rest that's about to come, because as you can see, we have pretty much heavy amount of firepower here, and we don't need too much more, but I did draft more. Besides that, we have a newcomer on the team, which is Swampert. I never used Swampert in draft, and I like Swampert, so I thought maybe it's the time for finally using it. It gives me even more momentum, stealth rocks, and another electric immunity, a ground type, and a bulky water, which also no, it does not complete my fire water grass core just yet. The last one will. And yeah, with this thing, I have a good lead, I would say. It's like a really, really good lead in OU at least. It helps me in a lot of matches with things I would otherwise not be able to break and could now Toxic Stall or break on timer, set on timer with Toxic. Rocks have me pretty much. My team is not too weak against rocks for now. We have a lot of hazard control, so we're not too worried about hazards at that point. I didn't draft many hazards. I went complete hyper offense with this team basically, with just a couple of walls mixed in there, so I don't need to be completely without walls because that's my playstyle. But yeah, it's just like the last season of CBDL where I had like two walls and the rest was just offense stacked over offense. And yeah, this is starting out to be something I really like, even though I didn't thought it would be my style of playing the game. Apparently it is. Maybe we're gonna see that more often in future. Who knows? It's not that fast of a mon, but it's pretty bulky. 100 base HP and 90 on both defense is pretty good. With the ability to burn things with Scald or flip turning out on potential grass types that would come in on this thing, makes it pretty dangerous to deal with, and you need to be prepared for it. And that's another thing you need to prepare on my team. You need to have something to break Coronite. You need something that checks a Hydra, a Katana, a Sarah, and the last one I'm not going to talk about just yet, but it's going to be a big banger, I can tell you that. Then you need to have something that could break your Swampert as well as the Coronite. That's like 2 courage moves you're going to waste on your Latiases and whatever. Like, you have to have Energy Ball and Thunderbolt, or Energy Ball and Mystical Fire, and that leaves you with basically no setup options. Cause what you want to run? No stab moves? Have fun beating a Hydreigon then. Like, this team really complements each other pretty well. And if you plan on sweeping me with something, have fun finding the right set for that. I can tell you that. Um, Moving on with Swampert, we drafted another way of hazard removal and a wall type of deal, I guess. We drafted Hitmontop, one I haven't used in ages, to be honest, as well. It's more like mons I have used before, but I didn't use it frequently, so that I can have some new things at least. Besides a couple of mods I've used quite a lot. The next two, for example. Um, Hitmontop gives me a pretty niche mod in my opinion. It gets me something with Rapid Spin, it has Intimidate, it has Technician with Triple Axle, and another lot of not good, another good lot of lots of other good moves. That's what I want to say. And basically, if I manage to use this thing correctly, I will have a lot of fun. I would say so, at least. We'll see. I don't think there's much to say about Hitmontop. We all know what it does. Most likely gonna be run like a Assault Wizard or Leftovers that would Intimidate. Checking all those big, bad physical offensive typings. And yeah, helps me somewhat breaking walls, but it's not gonna be a wall breaker for any sort of perform. Yeah, we're gonna see another buddy, a small one, Licky Tongue. Um, I misspelled the name actually. Well, did I? I think it's without an H. Licky Tongue. Yeah, like that. Perfect. Left heading doesn't look right as well. Let me check that. It is without an H. Yeah, this is correct. Okay, perfect. Yeah, we have Licky Tongue. I needed some form of cleric or wish passer or whatever, basically, and yeah, it exactly does that. It has me breaking those those weather abusing special attackers or physical attackers. Depends on what I want to run on this thing. It can just be there to support my team. It's not really mon I plan on bringing every week, but it's nice to have in some scenarios. Like facing a Spectre, for example. Which could be the case at some week, cause I think someone drafted a Spectre. And my team does not like Spectre all too much. Maybe they had Dragon, but besides that Dragon, nothing really wants to switch it into a Shadow Ball, so this thing does. That's something, is it? Please help. Um, yeah, we also get Heal Bell, Wish Protect, Knock Off. It's standard support of Mon, let's be real here. It's like a 2-pointer. But it's gonna work. I showed that it's gonna work in ATBA, RDL. Never uploaded that match, since I didn't upload any RDL matches this whole season, because I didn't felt well at the start of the season, so I didn't continue later on. It's just simple like that. I may start now since I had some changes to my team. We'll see. Yeah, coming to our last pick, completing a Firewater Grass Core, giving me one of my all-time favorites and all-time kill leaders, giving me a mon you should be aware of in my hands. It's Victini. How did I get Victini last round? I can't tell you. I did. And this is gonna be the Eternatus of this season, I can tell you guys. This will be the mon I'll get all the kills with. I know I have a Hydreigon, Katana, Sarah Aura. This thing will be it. Victini is probably one of my best mons I can use. If I pick this thing, you know it's gonna be serious. And yeah, this is what it's gonna be. with that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy this team review, this draft recap better. If you did, let me know in the comments down below if there's something you would make better, have some advice to me or whatever. Just let me know something if you want to let me know something. I did kind of try to do this whole layout on my own. I don't know if it's really looking good. I like the style. I know the names on the top. That no, the name thingies on the top don't line up perfectly fine. I just tried doing that because we didn't have anyone doing it, so I was like, okay, yeah, I can do that, or I at least can try, and so I did. I don't think it ended up too bad. It's okay, in my opinion. Alright, with that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy, and I see you guys next time. Bye.